I don't need it. I don't need it. I definitely don't need it. I 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 need it!
The next question comes from Keon. He asks, AP, if you could change the world, what's 2 things you do first? 2 things I would do first is just probably up the laws more. Like I would make the laws super strict if you're doing some bogus shit to people. Like I would make it to the point where people wouldn't want to do anything bad to a person. Or if I had like crazy unreal control of the world, like superpower hero stuff, I would just make everybody do nice shit. Like for me, it's just no reason to do anything negative to somebody. Like, why would you want to hurt somebody? Why would you want to steal from somebody? Like, I would just make people want to really care about themselves and what they're doing and then call it a day. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's so much deeper than what I'm making it, and I understand why people do things to people. But whoever the first person was to do something negative to somebody, they just created a domino effect. And that's why at some point we got to stop certain things, because everybody's just reacting. It's like, I'm doing this because they did this, but they did that because they did this, and then they did that because they did that. Stop the shit. We all gonna be positive. We all gonna help each other, and it's just gonna be, it is what it is. That would be my first thing. My second thing, to help people that don't have shit. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that everybody got to make the same amount of money. I'm not saying that nobody should be rich. We definitely should get what we work for. But I don't believe that some people should not have shit. Now, if some people put themselves in position to not have shit, that's on them, especially grown as men. It shouldn't be babies, children, and mothers with multiple kids at shelters or at bus stops asking for change and different things like that. I just don't think that kids should go through that. So those would be my things. Even if, and on more realistic, I would just put things in place to help people that need it. Like, every family should be able to properly enjoy Thanksgiving. Every kid in the world should at least get something that they want. It doesn't have to be a $5,000 gift, but you telling me that there's no way for every kid to get at least one thing they want, whether it's some shoes, a basketball jersey, a Barbie, a new Xbox game, like a controller. Every kid should be able to get something. And actually, the kids that I'm talking about ain't even playing Xbox. I'm just talking about kids that still play with Legos and Barbies. Like, every kid should get something for their birthday, for Christmas, and then every family should be able to enjoy Thanksgiving. Just because I look at Thanksgiving as just a family thing, just coming together, being around your loved ones, and appreciating that time. So those are the things that I would do. Next, we have Youngblood999. He asks, so do you believe there is more value in saving or investing your money? I believe in balance. In anything in life, there's balance. I would never live my life where I can't have a cookie. You know what I mean? No. I just believe that you shouldn't have a cookie every day, or you shouldn't eat 15 cookies at once. Everything should be in balance. So the same thing with money. You should save some money, but you should take some risks with your money. And you should also spend some of your money. Like, everything is fine with me in balance. You don't have to run 10 miles a day, but if you run a little bit every day, you'll be pretty healthy. You don't have to eat salads every day of your life, but if you eat healthy enough, you'll be fine. So it's the same thing with money. I believe in valuing your money with balance. Everything in life should have a proper, healthy balance. And if you balance in those two, between saving and investing, I think you'll be A-okay. But now, if you take all your money and you invest it in some shit and it flop, now you're broke. But if you save your money, you'll probably never make a super crazy marginal gain. You know what I mean? J. Cole has a lyric, if you're scared to take a risk, how the fuck we gonna get rich? So I understand it too, but again, balance is what I live by in life in almost every area. Ty Wool says, best advice for younger males when getting in a relationship. First of all, when you're young in general, it don't matter if you're a girl or a boy or they. I don't even know the new things. No matter what you're classifying yourself as these days, because I don't want anybody to be offended. The important thing to understand when you're younger and you're trying to get in a relationship is to understand that you are younger, right? So I understand how in the moment you don't realize that, like, you have your whole life in front of you. So and again, it's hard to say this because I'm not saying don't be serious or don't devalue the relationship, but do understand that you are still young and you have an entire life to live in front of you. Don't, number one, worry about anybody else, because I feel like that's a big thing when you're younger, is you care about the opinions of your friends. You care about what your peers are going to say about this girl, or if they think she's cute, or if they think she this or that. I've seen a lot of people, including myself, like in younger days, have influence over who they like based off what other people think. It still happens to older people, but it's more and more and more when you're younger. Don't give a damn what other people think. Like what you like who you like, and understand the value of liking somebody. When you're young, you don't know nothing, so it's all about looks. But the older you get, the more you understand that there's more things that go into liking a person and having a healthy situation with a person more than how they look. And appearance can only get you far. Appearances also change in any way. You know what I mean? You can like somebody and then they can fall and scratch their whole face, and now they got a mark. If that alters the relationship, then you probably shouldn't be with that person. Vice versa. If something had happened to you visually and that gave the person that you were with the right to leave you, you would be like, damn, that's some bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? So don't make everything 100% appearance. Definitely be attracted to the person, but you know, look for things that you value. And if you get that understood as a young person, you're going to have a very, very successful relationship life. The older you get. She's fine, but she's dull as hell. She has no sense of humor. She's negative. She has no personality. Who hurt you? Same thing with dudes. You may like him, but then he may be stupid. He get in trouble, unnecessary bullshit, disrespectful, and then it's like, oh, all that cuteness don't even matter because who you are as a person is ugly. And then also for guys, don't play with these young girls. You know what I mean? I get it. We're young. I've done it, but the older you get, when you have sisters, a mom, you're gonna have a daughter one day. And then you ain't gonna want nobody to do that to your sister, mom, or daughter. Just think of it that way. You know what I mean? Be as real as you can. A player isn't lying to get what they want. Being a player or a stand-up dude is to keep it real. And if you really that dude, you gonna get what you want by keeping it real. If you can't get what you want or what you're trying to get by keeping it real, then it is what it is. But if you gotta lie, you ain't that dude. I'm just keeping it a buck. I'm just keeping it a book. Take that as you may. LOL said, or at Jimmy Butler, and he spelled it crazy. He says, what was your realistic expectations of the amount of success Through the Wire will have? I'll tell you this, my expectation realistically was always that we were going to be groundbreaking. The thing for me that blew my mind was how fast we kind of got rolling. You know, I never predicted that quickly we would be with HOH and we would be doing the things that we were doing so fast. I thought it was going to take 4 or 5 years for us to really get in there. You know what I mean? But I always knew what we were doing was groundbreaking. I even said that in the meeting, our very first meeting when we went to visit HOH to formally be brought upon. I told them in the meeting, like, yo, I have full confidence that what we are doing is groundbreaking. It's the next wave. You have to understand, everybody's doing podcasting now, but when we first got started, you go back and look, it wasn't just all of these podcasts around, especially like us. You know, we had no connections. We just got it out the mud. We just did it. Every other podcast then, it was ESPN. It was backed by like $1 million companies and corporations. We just came out of the blue with our own sports podcast with no connect in the industry and just started it. That was rare at the time. But yeah, I always knew it was going to be groundbreaking because we were different than what was shown in the sports media atmosphere on TV. Older guys, business suits, talking in a certain professional way, keeping things really. We would just did what we did. We took basketball conversations that would happen at the lunchroom, in a locker room, with your homies at a barbershop, and we put it in a sports media space and presented it the same way that they do, but just a little bit more relatable. I'm talking with my 3 homies the same way you would talk with your 3 homies, except I'm just a tad bit more professional. I'm not here calling LeBron a bum. I'm not a casual, and I'm studying the game as much as the people on TV are, except I look like you. I got my hat backwards. I got my ears on. I'm wearing the same fashion shit that you trying to wear by. I'm not wearing a suit. I look like you. I sound like you. I got slang. So when I explain it tonight, I always felt we were going to be groundbreaking because that's always going to hit people way more here, is waking up and watching something that looks like you and sound like you and that you could talk to and have debates with on social media is way different than what we grew up on, which was guys on the TV screen that didn't look like us, that weren't around our age, they wasn't using our slang, and there was a huge disconnect outside of the actual basketball information. My next guy has the name For Kobe. Rest in peace to Kobe. Love that name. He says, any advice on high school? My advice on high school is to appreciate it while you have it. I tell this story all the time. I'll never forget sitting in my high school gym on the last day for me. We're doing a graduation rehearsal, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, damn, this is really my last day here. This is the last day not even probably, this is the last day I'm gonna see a lot of these people. It's the last day that I'm going to walk these halls as a student and just have this freedom. And I feel like the entire time of high school, a lot of kids just talk about graduating, leaving, getting out of there. You're so anxious to be 18 and going to college and being closer to 21. But you have 4 years where you're not a baby, so your parents give you a way more leeway, but you're also not an adult, so you don't have the responsibilities of paying rent, working a job unless you want to. But your main responsibility is to like go to school and continue to be a kid. And those are the best years of life, where again, you're in between being a child or a baby, where you're getting babied, but you're also not an adult. You're like right dead in the middle. So you have freedom, but without responsibility. And I would say take advantage of those days, because once you become an adult, you're adult for the rest of your life. You get a very small portion of being a kid, and you have an even smaller portion of being a teenager who's not an adult, but who has freedom, but without responsibilities. So you gotta really cherish those years, because once it's gone, the next reality of life is a full-on adult where you have bills, responsibilities, and these are things you have to do. There's no options. You have to do these things. But when you're a teenager, everything is really an option. It's all about going to school, getting good grades, and just doing your best. Just chill. Just straight chill mode. Once you become an adult, you gotta manage your time. You gotta make sacrifice. You gotta get a job that you have to go to. You know, you really gotta get on your grown man or grown woman type thing. So enjoy high school, be patient, and do not rush it, because once it's gone forever. Even if you're not a popular kid or you're not in the spot, well, it don't matter. Just enjoy the time again of being almost an adult without the responsibilities of being an adult. That's the best way I could put it to you. Next, we got my boy Grizz from Grizz World. He says, when you're stressed, what's one thing you do to clear your mind? When I'm stressed, I really just do things that I can get lost in, like reading. Reading really just takes you to a different place. You forget about everything that's going on. Working out. When you're working out, your mind is constantly on the objective, which is if you want to bench press a certain amount of times or a certain amount of reps, your mind is just focused on getting this 15th rep. If you're on a treadmill or you're outside running, you just want to hit 3 miles. Oh, I'm at 2.5 miles. I just got 0.5 more to do. Your mind is just on that goal. Video games, playing Pro-Am, baseball, Madden, whatever it is, you're just really lost into that. The true answer is just to do something calming, something relaxing, something that ain't tense or gonna make me think about whatever's stressing me out. And then once I calm myself down, attack whatever is stressing me out. And I'm also going to keep it real. A lot of times I talk to myself. You know what I mean? Like, I'll vent to myself if need be, just to get it off my chest. The healthiest thing to do is to not bottle it in. And if you don't feel comfortable talking to somebody at the time, or maybe you don't have anybody because it's late, like, I'll have something happen and I'll be like, man, it's really getting at me. And I'll just sit on my edge of my bed and talk to myself. You know what I mean? Talk to myself in a very quiet voice where nobody else can hear me, so it ain't awkward or weird. And just say whatever I would say and pretend I'm talking to the person who I have an issue with, or talking to someone who I'm getting this off my chest to. And shit, it'd be gone. Like, it literally, it sounds weird, but I do it all the time and I have no shame in it, and it has helped me a lot. Try talking to yourself about your problem, or if it's with a person, pretend that you're talking to that person, like they're in front of you, but they're not, and it's just yourself, and it's going to feel like you're saying it to them, because you're technically getting it off your chest. And before you know it, you'll see that person and it won't even be a big deal. Just be like, oh, okay. Next, we have my guy Darian. He asks, what made you want to get into music as a manager and an artist? Rich Vision is one of my favorite collectives right now. Well, I started off as an artist, and the guy that I managed, Flex, we were a group. And what happened was, I just wasn't finding myself. The things I was rapping about wasn't, a reality that I was living, and I didn't have a fun time doing that. And I wanted to find myself as a musician, because I felt like all my favorite rappers, they had a direct point that they were getting at whenever they made music, and it felt like it was authentic from who they were. So I wanted to find myself, to know exactly what I should be portraying in my music and how to make it, sound good. And I think Flex had caught on to that very quickly than I did. And then it dawned on me, like, man, Instead of both of us trying to be rappers, what if I put my shit to the side to help him? You know, two things coming together. You know, take what is the saying? Two stones to kill a bird, or one stone to kill two birds. Whatever the thing is like, well, if we come together, it'll make us on a faster pace instead of both of us trying to make it. If we came together as one, I manage him, and we boys. We already been friends before this ever happened. We don't have to worry about no shady business shit or turning on each other. My mom called him son. His family called me family. It's just we tied in for life, and he can come in with somebody that he trusts. I trust him. We good, and it's gotten us this far. Rich Vision has developed into something that was way bigger than I could imagine, with Flex, Gold Hayes, you know, Heavy But Light, my boy Jordan, you know, everybody. So and it's continued to grow, and I love where it's at right now because it's a family. It ain't nothing where we just trying to get anybody who's making noise, but it's more so who fits and who's family. And I think if we can continue to keep going that direction, we're going to be a very, very big collective as we grow. My boy Pishar asks, what are 3 things you need with you at all times? I need my wallet, number 1, because my wallet stores a lot of important things like my money, my credit card, debit card, my Best Buy card, my ID in case I get pulled over or whatever, and then just other shit that's in the wallet. And then I always need a watch. I love watches on my wrist. It just feels good to be on my wrist. And then I probably need either my phone or my car keys, just something that can keep me going and something to put me in motion. I like being in motion. I don't like to just feel like I have to be stuck sitting somewhere. You know what I mean? I like being able to have the option to go somewhere or to listen to music or to watch a podcast or to read something. And I feel like my phone or my car is going to give me options. You know, if I have just my watch and my wallet and a basketball, shit, I can't really do nothing with that. But if I have my phone, it can allow me to go to different escapes, and it can educate me, or I can use it as an education tool, whatever. My car, I can physically go somewhere. So as long as I got a mixture of those 3 things, I think I'm good. Wallet, watch, car key, wallet, watch, phone. That sounds like I'm good. A boy Victor Olivio, he says, do you have any book recommendations? Last Q&A, you recommended The Sixth Man, Giannis, and Contagious, and they all were great reads. Right now, I am reading Atomic Habits, and I would advise anybody to read that. Even if you don't think you have bad habits, you know, you probably need your better habits or your good habits to be even better. And it gives you that, and it breaks everything down into a science and into plain black and white form. And I feel like people who have their shit together could use that book. It's a book for everybody. People who don't have their shit together could use it. People who do have their shit together could use it. Old people, young people. It's really, really interesting and smart. And I think it's helpful. It's not, you know, it's not the typical self-help book, but it's so much in there that you don't even realize. Like, I'm a person that I don't really think I have too many bad habits. I'm human. I have some bad habits, but I think I'm pretty good, you know, with what I do. But even in that book, it's like, man, this could really make me help take my good habits to another level. And I can even, it shows you how to create a habit. You know what I mean? Man, I want this to be a habit because I know I need to do that. It tells you how to do it. And it's so crazy when he breaks it all down. So I would definitely recommend Atomic Habits, especially for somebody who's trying to do something with their lives, because good habits is all a part of that, to be honest with you. Next, Andrew Houston. He says, what advice do you have for people interested in sports media jobs like podcasting, writing articles, etc.? My advice is to just do it. That's always my advice. Just do it. Don't worry about getting with ESPN or House of Highlights or Bleacher Report. Don't worry about the equipment. Don't worry about any of the nonsense. You waste so much time trying to make it perfect when it's never going to be perfect. The beginning of anything is never perfect. Experience is what makes things better and better and better. We talk about basketball players who are the best based off their experience. We talk about who's favorited in the championship or in this situation because of experience. So because we know a rookie player or the rookie year of most Hall of Fame players isn't their best year, because time is what helps you become an all-time great. Take that same perspective into your own thing. Just start off doing it. Don't worry about how many people watching, how many people viewing. Get the experience to make you better. And then once you have that experience and you feel like you're at your best, Then you start making sure every other thing checks off the list. But just do it. Just do it. Don't worry about anything else except starting and doing it. And if you have an idea, start it today. Next, we got Juju, and he says, "How come you didn't take basketball as serious as EJ right now, like going to AAU tournaments and stuff?" Well, the first thing I will say, Juju, I did take basketball serious. I went to AAU tournaments and was on AAU teams. The one thing I would say, though, that the difference between me and EJ is he understands and understood sacrifice, number one, and work ethic very early, opposed to me. I didn't understand those things or how serious to take those things. Those are the parts that I didn't take serious. The amount of work you have to put in to want to be a high level basketball player. I was trying to get through with my God-given talents and taking it, taking advantage or taking for granted my God-given abilities and thinking that was going to take me along the way. I was always naturally very good, and I did put in work. But when you want to be one of the best players in your area, in your state, in the nation, you have to work harder than hard. You have to work double the time. You have to always want one more session, one more shot, one more extra sprint, one more, weightlifting session. You have to go the extra mile. And that's the difference between me and EJ. I didn't have that in me. And I'd rather spend time with my friends and do a bunch of shit that didn't matter. He is locked in the gym constantly every day working on his craft. And that's the part that he takes more serious than me. I love where I'm at, though, and I love where he's at. I have no regrets. But I will say, if I understood the amount of work that went into it from an earlier age, I would probably be in a much different position than what I am right now, as far as basketball career. But yeah, I think that's really the difference. I took basketball extremely serious. That's why I'm a Knicks fan. I thought I was going to get drafted by them. But the work is always, not even almost, always the most important thing and in any sport, as far as getting better and being the best version of yourself. And EJ has mastered that, and I'm so proud of him as an older brother. Next, we have my guy Zach Ramsey. He says, "Besides the money, what keeps you going as a content creator?" Kind of like the intro. I said, I just love being able to use my platform to help people, especially younger people. I love helping anybody, whether they're my age, older. But when you have younger fans or younger viewers who are going through some of the same things you went through in your life, I love being able to offer advice, offer perspective, and offer wisdom, that they can relate to help them. Because in my time, I didn't have a person that I can reach out to via YouTube and ask questions. You know what I mean? And when you're certain ages, you think what your parents is saying is what they're supposed to say, or you think that they're out of touch because they're so much younger and they can't really relate to you. But being able to have somebody like myself that's a little bit more closer in age to you. I'm more closer in age to everybody who's watching than their parents or their teachers or anybody that's, around them in that way, besides like an older sibling or something like that. And to be able to have those real questions and curiosities that you might not have or might not feel comfortable asking your parent or your aunt or your teacher or whatever, being able to have someone like myself could be helpful. And as long as I can use that to help others, and like I said, if it's just changing one person's life, then I'm forever grateful, and I'll feel good about myself. But for me, yeah, it's just about helping others, more so than the money. You know what I mean? Because if I'm being honest, as far as money, I don't need YouTube. I could just continue to do the podcast. But it's fun. I'm helping others, and on top of that, I get to make money and grow myself as a brand and as a person. But being able to use my voice and my experiences to help and offer a helping hand to people that are younger than me and aspire to do what I'm doing is good. And also shows people that it's okay to be a helpful, nice person, and it inspires people to do it for the next person, and we're all doing it for each other. It's just like holding the door. You hold the door for a person while they're walking into a store. That makes them happy and makes them feel like, man, I should hold the door for the next person. And then not everybody's holding the door for everybody because one person decided to do it. So, domino effect, man, domino effect. And then we have my guy, Brian Guzman, who's his name is just B right now. He says, 1, best advice for the dating game of today's time. And 2, lots of single moms out there. How does one go about deciding to date for them? Not sure what you mean by deciding to date for them, or are you talking about deciding to date a mom? I'm assuming that's what you mean. My best advice for the dating game is today's time is to take your time. The dating game right now is all over the place because it's apps now, social media. You got people who live in Tennessee and a person that lives in New York and they're dating or whatever, and it's so messy. You see so much stuff online, people doing people dirty. Definitely take your time getting to know a person, and again, like I said in the earlier part, you know, making sure you know what to value in a relationship or dating. You know, what are you valuing? What do you want? I feel like some people should write down what they want just so they can be sure and they can know exactly what they want and not be fooled by anything else, not be blinded by anything else, and to make sure, hey, I want this, I want that, and I want that. This person is nice, but they don't have this and that. So this may not be for me. Or this person has this, that, but they're not my quote unquote type, but they check off all the boxes. I'm going with it. You know what I mean? Making sure you value exactly what you want and then what you need and going for is that. Now, as far as moms, you know, the thing you have to understand is that is not just that person that you're dating. If you're dating a mom, you know, you're taking on her and her child. They're one. And you have to be mature for that, especially depending on what the situation is with the baby's other parent, whether it's a woman, dude, whatever, whoever is taking this advice. You know what I mean? You have to be understanding that dynamic, make sure it's something you're comfortable with, and yeah, make sure you're ready for the job, because you can't play games with a woman who has a child or a man who has a child, any type of single parent. I just feel like those people are off limits as far as playing games, because again, they have an entire child that they have to be responsible for, and you know, you don't want their child to be involved in some bullshit. So if you know that that's not what you're looking for, and you know that that's not what you want, you should get away from that and not waste that parent's time or that child's time, because that's just unfair. You know what I mean? That's extremely unfair to do to the parent and the kid, and that whole situation could have been avoided. So definitely got to be mature, and you have to understand what comes with that. And again, like I said, you got to do your due diligence, pay attention, and then know what you want. You know, I just think that that's always going to be the most important thing of a relationship: knowing what you want, knowing what you value, and then making sure that that person lines up with what you value. If you value personality, who you are as a person, what you stand for, things that are more important than a look or a quote unquote type or hair length. A lot of times when you're younger, or when I see social media people, a lot of people care about things that just don't matter. You know what I mean? A lot of people gonna miss out on a soulmate because they want a thick person, or because they want a short girl, or because they want to talk. Once you start reaching a certain age and understanding the values of people, that shit goes out of the window. You know what I mean? Love doesn't have a race, hairstyle, height, body shape to it. You want the person who genuinely loves you, genuinely supports you, and is genuinely there for you and will be loyal to you. Because nothing is going to trump that. No amount of looks, no amount of ass, no amount of whatever is going to trump the pure, genuine love that someone has for you. Boom. Next, last but not least, my boy Joris Wilson. He says, how do you balance your hobbies, friendships/relationships, and work? I'm in school for engineering, but my hobby is photography and videography, and finding time to balance both has become challenging. Well, the first thing you have to understand and you have to tell yourself is sacrifice. Sacrifice should be your number one friend. You're going to have to find something to sacrifice. It just is what it is. When you're dealing with that many things, that's the first thing you have to get understood in your brain, is that something has to be sacrificed. And when I mean sacrifice, I don't mean as a whole. But you know, you some days you're not going to be able to play video games, or some days you're not going to be able to do your hobby because you got to focus on school. Some day, you know, you have to put what's important and make time for everything. Nothing should dominate you. And if it is, then you need to take a step back, rearrange your life to make sure everything is getting a decent amount of time without being affected in a negative way. Because family is important, school is important, and your hobby is important. So I would, man, do anything that I could to figure it out, whether I needed to schedule it, whether I needed to make straight days. It might have to be like, man, Monday and Wednesday, I'm schooled out. I'm just straight school. And if I can open up any time for my hobby or for my family, then boom, that's even better. But I'm going into Monday and Wednesday thinking this is just for school. Tuesday, that's my family day. Nothing is coming in between my family day on Tuesday. I have to, nothing. I don't care what's going on. Tuesday is my family day. Friday or the weekend, Sunday, Saturday, whatever, maybe my hobby day, and figure it out like that, and just try to use that method. And shit, hopefully that will work. But it's definitely about understanding sacrifice and proper sacrifice. You know what I mean? It ain't meaning that you're neglecting anything or you're not keeping in touch, but more so when it comes to balancing things, and juggling things, it's about properly using your time. You know what I mean? And understanding shit. I have 3 things to do tomorrow, so I'm probably not going to stay up to 1 o'clock in the morning trying to catch up on a TV show. This is a day where I'm probably going to have to go to bed at 11 or 10:30, and make that type of sacrifice. It's maybe a day where I may have to not watch a sporting event. I may can't play my video games for 3 hours, and I may can't do this or that. I may have to really wake up, go to class, come back, go hang out with my family, take some pictures, or multitask. You know what I mean? I might do my homework before movie night with my family at the house, and then once I'm done, boom, I just killed, what do they say? Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I don't know how I'm forgetting how to phrase it, but that would be my advice. Finding some method, whether it's scheduling, multitasking, but just understanding the full effect of sacrifice. And that's a wrap. I appreciate everybody who submitted questions. We're going to be doing this a lot more, hopefully a lot more consistent. So if I didn't get your question, don't feel bad at all. It's only so many I can pick. And I'm hoping that a lot of my answers for these questions could potentially answer other questions that a lot of other people had, because I was seeing some similarities when I was scrolling through. And be sure to let me know how y'all feel about this in the comments. Is this something I should do more consistently? How do y'all feel about these? How do you feel about the answers? If there's any advice that you can give to some of the people who ask some of these questions, or you have a different answer than mine, feel free to let it be known in the comments. And as always, I appreciate you guys. I am PeeweeDaplug. I will see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.